We are live on Instagram and now YouTube as well. Got that figured out. Hello everyone. Hope everybody's having a fantastic Thursday so far. Just gonna say hi to some people. Hello, hello, welcome everyone. Well, let's jump into it. Hi guys, welcome. So we got the live going on again today. Brandon here with Harvey Industries International, and excuse me, as usual, if you want a little bit better audio, go on over to YouTube. I do have a mic on, so go check that out if you want better audio. Sometimes I go a little bit away from the phones. Instagram guys, you're not going to hear me as well if I do. You'll also probably pick up a little bit more background noise, but yeah, so if you want better audio, YouTube is the way to go. Should be live under Harvey Industries International or Harvey Woodworking. Just Google it or type it in the search bar and you'll find it. All right, guys, well, last week I showed you the finished 3 sides of the desk for the AWFS convention. Let's take a little tour around the backside. That is now finished. All right, look at that. So, last week, all of these doors, we worked on painting the doors. We sprayed them black with the paint sprayer, and I ended up painting that face frame black, and now everything looks freaking awesome. So, all black. I do need to add, I was short 2 handles, so I got these little handles here. I was short this one and the other one over there, so I've still got to put those on, but other than that, everything's pretty sweet. Still got the inside that kind of natural color. And this was just pre-made cabinet from Lowe's, and basically just slapped some 1/4-inch ply on the sides, primed it, sanded it down, painted it, got the doors painted, all the faces, took those off and painted them as well. If you want to check out that, it's on the last couple lives that we did. We got this top built in the other live streams. I got my little brackets in there that I was painting. I'm not sure how well you can see, but we got them right over there in that corner. That's kind of holding the top on. And like I mentioned before, I didn't want to do a really permanent fixture of this top piece just because I'm not sure the use of this after the convention. So I wanted to give myself a little bit of leeway in case I wanted to use this as kind of like a fully flat top without this on there. So I could work from both sides kind of thing. But you can still use this if we want. Just pop a couple screws in there and we're good to go. So other than that, this is great. I have something really exciting that I'm about to add to it. Let's hop over here for a second. So this just arrived from our friend Jeremy over at West Kentucky Woodworking. Super exciting. Let me show you guys. Okay, so this is for a later discussion. We're gonna get into this today, but for now, I got something right over here. This guy. Check this thing out. Let me get a good view of it. Back you up so you can see a little better. Check this thing out here. Look at it. Oh man. Look at that thing, huh? How cool is that? Get a little closer. Get the little shimmer in there. Whoa, that thing's sweet. So big shout out to Jeremy, West Kentucky Woodworking, for making this. He did a couple little videos showing you how he made it. Got the CNC going, got some little colored epoxy, some clear epoxy over the top. All in all, this thing looks amazing. So we got it. Let's go ahead and put it on here. add that final little touch. Let's see. And I already kind of measured and put the screws in there, so it should just pop right on. All right. Final touch. Just make sure it's lined up with the little grippers on the back. Boom. Here we go. How about that, huh? That thing looks sweet. Cool from afar and super cool up close too. Like I showed you those kind of sparkles that are in there. See if we can focus a little bit. Nice. So yeah, that's kind of a fun little project. Went by pretty quick. Showed you how I milled up the top piece. Got the bevels cut on it, sanded it, finished it, all of that on live stream. So if you want to check it out, see the last couple live streams. Should be either welcome desk build or desk build or something like that on YouTube and Instagram. You guys can go and watch that. But yeah, so we got it all done. It's ready for the AWFS convention in Las Vegas, July 25th to 28th. So you guys should definitely come check it out. We're going to be there. The entire Harvey and Bridge City team is going to be there. So we'd love to hang out with you guys there in Las Vegas. Like I said, July 28th or 25th to the 28th in Las Vegas. AWFS is the abbreviation for the convention. So definitely check it out. It's going to be super fun. I'm super excited to just meet a bunch of woodworkers and just talk about stuff, you know, talk about woodworking, because that's what we do. Make some friends, have some drinks, eat some good food. So it's going to be exciting. So end of July, coming up real soon. So get your tickets, take a little vacation for yourself. Come on out to Vegas. So that's that. Just wanted to show that off a little bit. Yeah, bumping you guys and moving you around. Okay, so let's get this out of here. Put this put away. All right, now let's introduce the next little project. Take my mic off just a second. So we have one more kind of just fun little project that we're doing for AWFS. And it is, as you can see behind me, it's going to be a blade display. So if you didn't know, Harvey sells these destroyer blades, which are absolutely amazing. I use them every time I'm here, cutting on the table saw, and man, do they ever work nice. So we're going to be showing these at the convention. We've got 3 of them right here. Let's get you guys a little close up so you can see them a little bit better. There we go. And I'll tell you what these little orange things are in a minute, or yellowish orange. So I just pulled these out so they still have some of that greasy, waxy stuff on it. So here we have the crosscut destroyer blade, obviously for cross-cutting. Thing is really nice. Super sharp, really solid. So, number 1. Number 2, we have over here, our general purpose blade. And like I said, got some grease on it. I just pulled them out. Some of that rust preventer. So, got that one, the general purpose, cross cut. And last but not least, the rip cut blade. So, rip cut over here. It does show the little teeth pattern on here, which is pretty cool, I think. I'm not sure if you guys can see that or not. Kind of shows a little bit of the tooth pattern, as well as it gives kind of the degree of the cut. So that's a really nice feature as well of these blades. And they're just super solid blades, really sharp. So essentially what we have to do is, instead of just taking these blades and, sorry guys, let me get you set up a little bit better. So instead of taking the blades and just laying them on top of the table saws for people to look at, I wanted to do more of an upright display so that they're not going to be laying on the table saw. It's not going to be scratching the surface, and we're not going to have to like lay something out on the table saw. I really wanted to make kind of a dedicated display for it. So my idea was, as we were putting together one of the table saws for the convention, I had to pull one of these brackets off of the table saw. And these are, I don't remember which one they're on, but they're on one of the table saws for shipping. So this is basically just a shipping bracket that keeps the motor in place, keeps it from kind of wobbling around and stuff. And essentially, like, what you would do is just pull this off and throw it away when you get your saw, because you don't really need it, unless you're going to be shipping it again, but most likely you aren't. So this is kind of one of those throwaway pieces, but it's still, I don't know, it's kind of cool because it comes with the saw. And my thought with it was, it has these kind of these angles here, and I thought, that'd be kind of cool to mount the blades like this, kind of mount them right to that. And it gives it actually gives a really nice angle as you're standing, kind of lets you look at it, get the feel for it, and suspends it kind of in the air, which I thought was kind of cool. So essentially that's what I'm going to be doing, is using these guys to mount the blades. And I have two that are the same color, and then this one's just a little bit different. I think it came off a different saw or something. So I'm going to be doing two on the sides, one in the middle like that. And the plan is for today to rip this guy straight here. We got a nice live edge piece of walnut. Really cool. Gonna chip some of that bark off. So we got our live edge piece of walnut. And what I'm gonna do is just rip a clean edge across the back of this. And then I wanna put these essentially router out underneath there so that they sit flush. And then they're gonna sit on the back like that and just kind of be out of the way like that, and then the blade will sit right on top. If I can get these blades here. The blade will sit right up top like that, so kind of suspended, and then I'll put a bolt through here to hold it in place, lock it in there. So that's the idea. That's what we're gonna try to go for today. My throat's a little dry. I'm gonna get a drink of water real quick. Always remember to hydrate, folks. Stay hydrated. I know it's getting hot in a lot of areas of the US right now. California was about 100 a couple times this week, so it's getting toasty. Make sure to hydrate. All right, so first things first. Let me see. I'm just gonna eyeball this and see kind of what we're looking at here. So it looks fairly good overall. Pretty flat, not really twisted or anything. So I need to bring it over to the table saw and start kind of ripping that line through the middle. And if I'm being honest, I'm not really sure exactly how I'm going to do that yet. I have an idea though, so we're going to try something new. I do need to slide this bad boy out of the way so I can use the table saw easily. All right, that should be good. And I do still need to mount the brackets for the top so that it locks it on on that base cabinet. So I have an idea of how I want to rip this. Set it to 0. Now, I am going to take this off temporarily. Alright, so because I don't have any edge to be running along to get like a good straight cut, I think what I'm going to do is try to place this on top of a piece of plywood and use that as almost kind of like a sled, like a table saw sled, that I can get a good clean edge, and then I'll start ripping it closer to what I want. So first thing I'm going to do is mark it with our Bridge City straight edge. I'm just going to kind of eyeball. I want to keep as much of it as possible, so I'm just going to make my rip as close to there as possible, and then let me grab my tape measure. I'm going to bring you guys around here so you can see a little bit better what we're doing here. Okay. And I'm actually going to grab a piece of plywood that's already ripped down here. Just going to eyeball kind of what I want to do here for that cut. Essentially, that's what we're doing. I just want to rip a line all the way through there. And want it to be generally the same at around 7.5. What's that? 7.25. So somewhere around there is kind of where I want it. I'm gonna flip it around here and just kind of see if I can get a little bit of an eyeball on it there. Okay, that's where I would like it. So now I'm just going to make a mark. Okay, so let's just see. 7.5, 7, and about 7. Okay, so that's pretty even all the way across for the width going all the way across. Obviously, we have a live edge, so it's not going to be perfectly straight, but it gives me an idea of where I need to cut. So now what I'm going to do So this is essentially what I'm going to do. I'm just going to hang the one side off a little bit, and then I'm just going to run it through. I need to figure out a way to kind of hold this in place while I'm doing this, because I'm going to be running it through like this just to get that straight edge, but I do not want this kicking back or something like that. But for now, I can, while it's here, set the blade depth so that I'm able to rip all of that through. Looks about good. Now, like I said, I need to figure out how to clamp this down. It's That's where you gotta get a little bit creative, I guess. I think what I'm gonna do is some tape and glue. So we got some CA glue there. Got ourselves some blue tape. So I'm just gonna make some spots where I can glue it. So I'm ripping off this edge, so I'll do kind of right here. Do one in the middle just because. Now, I am gonna put it on here so I can see generally where my tape is. One of the things I'm out of is actually the CA glue activator. So I'll kind of have to just wait for it to dry on its own, which might take a minute, but I did use it earlier this morning and it worked okay, so I think I'll be all right with that. Okay, I'm just gonna do some squirts on there. Okay, now I can flip it over and align that edge with where I wanted it. On my tapes. It's roughly where I need it. So align that edge there and that edge there. Just kind of give it a nice press down. That glue to squish where I want it. Give it a minute to dry and then it should be good to go. Now, essentially all I have to do is set my width to a little bit more than what my plywood is. That should work. There we go. And then essentially all I would need to do is just rip it and it should put a nice clean edge on it. Just gonna make sure everything's still going well on the streams here. Had a little connection issues in the beginning, but looks like we're good to go now. I'm gonna turn this little light off here. All right. Looking good. Okay, so this is essentially what we got going here. So we have that. Oh, still a little bit loose on there. But it's essentially what we have going on. Want that glue to stick a little bit better. It is bowed up a little bit in the middle, so that makes it slightly more difficult. I think it's not really grabbing as well as I'd like. I have another idea, actually. I have some, so this is 1-inch stock. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab, if I have some, all right, so this is my other thought. I'm just gonna screw the edges down. That's not gonna work. Need longer screws than that. All right. Couple of 1.5-inch screws. We're just gonna screw it right down into that plywood there. Should be a T10, T15, perfect. Okay, so it's still where I want it. So now I'm just going to lock it in place with these. Okay, get that out of the way. That's good. Gonna do this side here. All right. Okay, I'm comfortable enough with that being secured where it is to the plywood that I can at least make one rip and then get one clean edge on there. So let's fire it up. All right. Turned out really good. Nice and smooth edge there. Can unscrew it from the plywood. Pull it off that glue now. All right, here we go. Let's give a look. Perfect. I don't know how well you can see that, but nice clean cut all the way down. Nice and straight. And I do have a little nick here from a previous cut, but that's going to be underneath, so I'm not worried about it. So now that's kind of the rough shape that we got going there. Now I think what I'm going to do is, now that I have that straight edge, I'm going to cut these ends off and square them up. Let's get the slider over here. Set it to 0. And give it a rip. So the blade stand the blades that we're using for the stand are actually, this is one of them here. This is the general purpose destroyer blade. And as you can see, once I give this a cut, it rips through like butter. So check that out. So this is just the general purpose blade, and look how clean it cross cuts. I mean, you can see all that grain. This is chip out from something else before. This end here, look at that. I mean, it's just buttery soft too. There's no saw marks or anything. So that's one of the cool things about these blades that I'm making the stand for. You can use them for, even the general purpose blade is freaking awesome. You can use it for a lot of different stuff. Okay, so let's go over, I'm gonna do a little bit of hand work on this. Come over here. Kind of try to get a good setup here. So this is essentially the base that we got going here. And these are, like I said, gonna be underneath here. So I do have to router out the little slots for those to sit in. Essentially, it's just gonna be like this. It's kind of what I'm going for. Obviously, the blades will be sitting up here like this. And one of the cool thing is too, we can always put stuff on here, maybe some Bridge City tools or something to kind of display as well. So that's kind of a fun little detail. Okay, so get some stuff out of the way here. Now what I'm going to do is just kind of chip off this bark. That way we can get a nice clean wood edge. Grab a little chisel. Just going to kind of chip away some of this stuff here. trying to chip all of it off. Try not to cut too much into the wood itself. It's got a good view here. Yeah, it's pretty good. Sometimes bark comes off really easy, but sometimes it sticks a little bit more like this. Just gonna get the majority off, and then I'll go through with a sander and just kind of sand off the rest once I'm ready to get sanding. There we go. That's a nice chunk. Okay, getting a little bit of wood there, so leave that part be. All right, looks pretty good so far. Okay, that's good. All right. Now, I'm just gonna scrape everything onto the floor, and we'll sweep it up later. Okay, so we got the kind of that profile that we got going on there, that live edge. Now I am gonna get the sander out, I think, and go ahead and sand this edge down, and then kind of give it a little bit of profile on the ends there. So I'm just gonna kind of shape it with the sander. So let me grab the old Surf Prep sander. I'm gonna grab a little bit of a heavy grit here. All right, so I'm gonna grab this medium pad here. That way I can give it a little bit of a softness, and I'm not sanding away too much. Shout out to Surf Prep for giving us this stuff. Thank you, Surf Prep. Love it. Whoa, did you hear that? We're just sanding away that bark on there. I'm gonna grab a little bit heavier grit so I can blow through it a bit faster. Oh. So to take the majority off, I'm just gonna put this guy on there. It's a piece of 80, and then I'm using just the regular firm pad that's on here already to kind of blow through everything. So I'll probably leave a little bit of the bark exposed like that just because it kind of adds a little cool little detail. Okay, we're getting there. All right, that's pretty much what I want right there. Just kind of like a softened look. And then obviously I'll go back and sand it down so it's nice and smooth. I am gonna router this edge as well. Kind of give it a little bit of a profile. Okay, so one of the things I'm going to do is actually kind of round these off a little bit, give it a nice profile edge, or I guess profile would be the right term. So we're going to go over to, I don't think I've used this at all on stream yet. I'm going to go over to the bandsaw. And I have not actually, I don't even know if this is set up yet. So we're going to see. See if it's set up. I know there was we were making some little adjustments on it, but I'm gonna see if it's running correctly. If I recall, I think we do need to put a new blade on it, but just for a couple cuts, I think I'd be okay. So let me just adjust some stuff here. Set up these bearings a little bit here. It's good there. Okay, I'm gonna give that a shot. Grease all over my hand. And I need to run power to it. Okay. Let's see if she runs. Make sure it's tracking. Yeah, so we do need to replace the blade just because it does have a little bit of wobble in it, but for now, I think we're good to take a couple cuts on here. Let's put you guys over here. Boxes in the way here. So we got a little bit of a shape on there now. Bring it back over to the sander. And we'll just kind of shape it with this. We got our pretty much finished shape for the base anyways. So kind of got that. Gonna round it over and stuff. Now I should have, I have I think an 1/8 inch round over bit on this. What I'm gonna do is just go around this edge and just create like a little round over. Just plug this little router in here. Where's my cord? Got cords going everywhere here. Okay. Well, I'm gonna put my ears in so that I don't lose my hearing. So got a little bit of a softened edge there, especially around like these parts. It's kind of nice. Get that softened edge. Gotta go now and sand that flush. Sand off those little router marks, but kind of cool. Now, I'm gonna switch up the sandpaper here. I got a 180 grit sandpaper. Nice and smooth. Get in there. Really gonna pop. That grain is really gonna pop when I put some finish on it. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Oof, dusty. So a quick run through on the top here. I'm gonna move down a bit because this is not fast enough. Do 120 right now because I do have some mill marks on this that I'm trying to get rid of with the sandpaper, so I'm trying to get rid of it faster than having to wait. All right. Enough of that sanding. All right, let's do a little bit of math. I still have to do a little bit of sanding here, but let's do a little math here. So we have 34 1/4. And I think what I want to do is space these out fairly evenly. Just gonna see here. If I line it up with the very edge, with that edge, that one over there, gives me some space in between. But I'd like to bring them in a little bit closer, I think. Something like that, I think would be good. So obviously we just need to find center for this one. So 34 1/4 divided by 2, 17 1/8. What I'm gonna do is this over to the back side. 17 1/8 would be the center. I'm gonna mark it as center. And then I'm just gonna come off of this and see roughly where we're at. So let's call it 11. I'm gonna say 11 1/2. We'll call it 11 1/2 from center to the next one. 11 1/2. Mark center and pull 11 1/2. Center. All right, so that's where I want these guys to be. 1, 2, and 3 on the end there. So essentially what I have to do now is grab my square here. Just gonna kind of line it up. I have a hole here, so I'm just gonna line my center in that hole. And then take my square. And I'm just gonna mark that. Okay. We'll take this other side here. Mark that. As well as my depth for going in. Let's call it right there. We'll give it a little extra space. So now, oh, dropped my pencil. Now, I need to router out this section here. So that's what I'll be working on next here. So I'm actually gonna label these 1, and we'll just put a 1 there because they're all slightly different, especially this one's different than the other two. There. That's good. I'll mark the top. Label this as 2. Put a little 2 there, and then our third one. Alright. And I'm actually going to, let me see if you guys can see this or not. Yeah, okay, so there's that little groove there. And if I put this centered where I want it, it's gonna have just a little bit. So I'm gonna move it over just a touch, probably only about less than an 1/8 inch. Which when you're looking at it, it's not really gonna be that visible anyways, unless you're obviously looking for it, but just because I wanna try to utilize that and cover it up. Okay. Label this one as 3. All right. So now, I need to figure out how I want to router this out. I think what I will do is make a little jig. I think what I'm going to do is make a little jig real quick. So I'm going to make a little plywood jig that fits there, and that way I can use this bit here to just follow that and then router it out. So I'm going to go ahead and make a little jig real quick. Essentially what I'm going to do is just cut 2 pieces like this for the sides, nail a strip underneath, and then put one on top. Actually, that reminds me, I'm going to go a little bit long just so that I can have enough room for that router to go out there. So I'll cut 2 at this length. And I gotta run power back to my table saw from my bandsaw. Right now we only have one hookup over here. Okay, so essentially what I'm going to be doing is that. I could just use this as a guide if I wanted to. Kind of put it together. I think this one's actually skinnier than that one, so let me see here. But they're roughly the same size, so I can use that as a gauge. Do that. I'm just going to nail a strip on there. Trying to kind of whip this up real quick. Line that up. It's a very crude jig, but it'll work. Okay. Now I need to flip it over. I'm gonna cut this piece off here. Over and use that as a gauge. All right, there's my little jig. That should allow me to router out a nice little groove. Throw a couple more nails in this side. Nice and sturdy. Yeah, that should give me my exact groove there. Sweet. So, put our new router bit in. And probably a good idea to unplug this before I mess with it. Oh. Nice and secure in there. Now I need to set my depth. What I'll do is just set this on there and drop it down until it touches. And then lock it in place. Take it out, eyeball it, and just adjust a little bit more than what that is. And do about an 1/8 pass. All right, that should be good. See how far this takes me here. Okay. My safety glasses and earbuds. I'm going to clamp this guy on there. Okay. Throw a couple blocks under here to space things a little bit. That's better. Jig is secured in place. Give it a test here. Perfect fit. Now I do need to figure out how deep I want it to go. I think I want it to go definitely deeper because I do need to put a screw on there which will kick it out even more. So probably double this thickness is what I want to go towards. Gonna take off shallow passes. I'll go a little bit deeper. Go. Perfect. Nice and snug in there. It's inset a little bit more than the depth of this. And I'm not worried about having a nice clean edge because it's going to be underneath, so you're not going to be able to see that anyways. Now, I think I should go deeper actually, just because, like I said, I'm going to have a screw head that's going to stick up. So I will need to inset it a little bit more. Just curious though, it's gonna sit like that. Yeah. It's gonna be pretty cool, I think. Not too shabby. Okay, so let's reset that. Back to where it was. just a touch too far, so I'm just gonna tap. Perfect, right where it was. Okay, so I'm just gonna adjust this down a little bit more, and I'm just eyeballing it. Okay, I think that'll be good once we get it there. Right. That's good. Let's give it a look. It's nice and snug in there. Nice. Gotta hold it up close up here. So, got a little bit of a depth, which is what I wanted. Because like I said, there's gonna be a screw here, which will give a little bit more depth that way. I just wanna make sure that everything's gonna be flush with the bottom in the end, so. Cool. And when we flip it over, looks like that. Not too bad. So now we'll just do the other ones. Since we already got the little jig made and everything, should be pretty easy. Throw it on there. Line it up. I do think that this one, yeah, this one's a little bit smaller, but I'm not worried about it. Once I put that screw in there, I'll probably also put some like CA glue just to really give some extra adhesive action going there. Get it centered. Shout out to Bits and Bits for these router bits that I'm using. Thing's super sharp. I mean, it cuts super clean. Look at that. Just no issues going right into it. Now, I am going to start with a smaller cut. I don't want to take the full cut at first. It's just going to be too much for this little router. So let's see how that gets us. Okay, we can go about a little bit more than that. That's good there. Okay. Put my ears in. Okay, now we'll go to the full depth. Should be easy to set the same depth because I have this little notch here that I can set it to. Perfect. And next up, set the depth to about half. All right. Here's my brush. There it is. Oop. Okay, so in a perfect world, these will slide right in there, just like that. Fit nice and snug. Oh yeah. This one's gonna be looser. And it should be number 3. The pencil wore off that one, but I'm pretty sure that's number 3. There we go. So that's pretty much the idea we're going for right there. And then these will be mounted, if I can get it up, like so. It'll be held like that. Now, one of the things I'm hoping is that there's not too much weight from the blades to make this tip back like that. Hoping that, yeah, everything should just kind of balance out. It's not going to tip back too much, but won't know until I got them all on there. Actually, you know what? Just for kicks, I think I'm going to try to just temporarily stick these on, if it'll stay, which I don't know if it will actually, but I don't think I'll be able to get that to stay. Ouch! Ouch! Disaster. Okay, well, that was dumb. Worst case scenario, I'll have to add some sort of weight to this so that it doesn't just tip back like that. Yeah. Basically just don't want it to tip back like that. So whether that means putting some stuff on the front here or something. I was thinking this piece would be heavy enough to support these, but the blades are actually pretty substantial, so I don't know if it'll be able to hold them up there. Maybe. Well, just more reason to get these set in place and see if it's going to work. So I think what I'm going to try to do is figure out a way to actually attach these, some screws or something. Flip it over. So need to figure out a way to attach these. Ideally, I just have some really short, fat screws that with a big head that I could put in there. That would be the ideal scenario. And we'll have to see if that's gonna, if we can find something like that here in the shop. Okay, so I do have these. Will it fit? Not quite. Oh man, it just barely doesn't fit on there. Okay, well, I do have a backup. And I'll probably just shave these down so they're not as long. That way they can kind of go right in there. So my backup is going to be, grab them real quick. Washers. Now obviously these are going to be too wide to fit in there. So what I'm going to do is just sand these down on the edges. That way this screw can grab it and pull it, lock it in place. So that shouldn't be too hard. So I'm just going to bring my sander over here. Plug it in. I'm just going to use some pliers to hold these while I sand them on a couple edges. So it looks like I'll need about a little more than an 1/8 inch on each side. Well, that's not going to work there. Get some there we go. Okay, test number 1. It's going to be really hot because I just sanded it. Let's see if it fits in there. Alright, it's toasty. Just need to sand off just a little bit more. This is just a cheap little Harbor Freight sander, so I'm not too worried about it. Okay, I do want to cool these off though. Bit of water on there. Cool it down just a little bit. Okay. Put it on there like that. And that should fit just like that. Perfect. Now I should just be able to put a screw in there, like so, and it'll lock it in place. Easy peasy. But if I did that, this screw would poke through the end. So what I'm going to do is sand down the screw until it is about 1/4 inch shorter than what it is now. Cool it down a little bit. Okay. Now, that should be perfect. So now what I'll do is I'll just drill a hole where I need it, as close to the end as possible. That way it gives a nice grip. Then we'll screw it in. Pre-drill, obviously. Okay, so I don't want to go too deep, because if I do, then I'm going to be kind of screwing myself over. Going through the other side, which I do not want to do. Oh, I think I just went through the other side like I just said I was going to not do. Ah. Well, create more work for myself, but it is fixable. So, and if this works nicely, then I can do it for the rest of them. Beautiful. Now, looks like it's just a tiny bit up, which is okay. I can sand it a little bit. Actually, I don't think that's gonna matter because I do want to put some little nubs on here, some little rubber nubs, so that'll space it off just enough. So we shouldn't have a problem. So, there you go. Nice and sturdy. Obviously, it's gonna want to tip back a little bit, but we won't know until we get the blades on there. So now I can repeat those steps for the other one. Sand these down. This one can go in there now. Beautiful. And gotta sand one of those screws down again. All right. find that spot. This time I'm going to put a little tape on there so I know not to go too far. That one's on there. 2 down. Cool, cool. Last one. Screw, and then we're done with that. All right. Drill a hole. Drill bit. Where'd my last brace go? There it is. And there we go. Bam. Doing pretty good. Now all we gotta do is a final sanding and then put some finish on it. I still need to figure out the little bolt situation for these, but once we get those, we will be good to go. So that's where I'm gonna leave it today. Made some pretty good progress. It's almost done, so that's good. It's gonna look nice and pretty once we're done here. Give it a little water pop before we sand more. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate everybody sticking around. For those of you who are still here, thank you so much for hanging out with me, doing some woodworking. Love to have you guys around. We're making progress. So I'm gonna get cleaned up a little bit. Got tools everywhere. Going crazy today, but yeah, I really appreciate you guys watching today. Still got the tripping over stuff here. Still got the Harvey desk over there, looking pretty nice. All right, guys. Well, like I said, thanks for hanging out today and doing some woodworking with me. I'm gonna keep rolling on this one, give it a nice final sand, probably put some oil on it, and figure out what I want to do for the bolts to hold the blades on. But it's a fun little one-day project. Next week, we'll have to figure out what we're going to do next. So we're going to keep rolling and getting ready for the AWFS convention. Just for those of you who didn't hear it in the beginning, we are building this guy, we're building that. We're getting all of our Harvey equipment, Bridge City tools, all of that stuff. We're packing it up and we're bringing it to Las Vegas because we're going to be at the AWFS convention. It's going to be Las Vegas, the July 25th to the 29th. So you guys will definitely want to be there. Check it out. The whole Harvey and Bridge City crew is going to be there. We'd love to just hang out, spend some time together, talk woodworking. So yeah, we're going to be there. Like I said, I'm going to keep rolling here, and we will see you guys next week. We're here every Thursday, 12 p.m. Pacific time. So thanks, guys, for tuning in, and we will see you next week.